The Dragon's dating app disaster. Moonlight slithered across the dusty floorboards of Kaelin Drakar's rented attic loft, pooling around the ancient silver mirror he'd hauled up 4 flights of stairs. He stood before it in regal stillness, tall frame wrapped in a charcoal coat that belonged in a forgotten century. A ripple shimmered across the glass. The oracle's voice drifted out in an echo that sent goosebumps crawling over his mortal skin. Your time thins like frost at dawn. Within 1 lunar cycle, you must claim the fire of your fated mate or remain earthbound in human guise forever. Kaelin's throat tightened. 1,000 years walking the skies reduced to this fragile flesh? The thought coiled dread and defiance together in his chest. He bowed his head. I will find her. The mirror dimmed, leaving only his own reflection. Severe cheekbones, midnight hair, eyes that still glowed faintly gold when his temper slipped. Human or not, he looked every inch the displaced monarch. He straightened the cuffs of his coat, gathered what shattered courage remained, and approached the glowing rectangle on the table, an artifact humans called a tablet. The dating application's welcome screen pulsed invitingly. Find your perfect match. He inhaled like a warrior marching into battle. Name? He typed with careful precision. Kaelin Drakar. The app spat a red error. Too formal. Try something fun and friendly, it suggested. Fun and friendly were foreign dialects. Hesitant, he entered Night of Flame and pressed continue. Age 1034 seemed honest. He replaced it with 34. In the box labeled, "Tell us about yourself," he wrote, "Guardian of ancient treasures, seeks fertile companion for alliance and eternal flight beneath moonlit horizons." The app shuddered as though offended, then popped up a warning icon. Your profile has been flagged as suspicious. A new message slid in beneath it. Congratulations, you've been paired with a certified romance coach to maximize your matching success. Your coach will contact you shortly. Kaelin blinked. Romance. Coach? The tablet chimed. A video call attempted connection. He tapped accept. The screen filled with a woman's face framed by a riot of copper curls. She wore oversized heart-shaped glasses and a grin that could melt glaciers. Hi there, I'm Ember Vale, founder and chief miracle worker at Swipe Right or Die Trying. But you can call me Ember, or oh wow, please fix my love life. Either's fine. You must be Night of Flame? Her gaze flicked down to read his username. Brows lifted. Bold choice. He cleared his throat. Kaelin will suffice. She studied him. Okay, Kaelin. First impressions. You look like you stepped out of a gothic cologne ad. It's mysteriously hot, but women on this app might think you're a vampire who pays child support in antique coins. I pay in jewels, actually, he murmured before catching himself. Ember's grin widened. See, that's the vibe I'm talking about. Let's start by rewriting your bio. Something that says approachable human man who likes brunch. Not please fold your fertility papers in triplicate. Sound good? Your idioms perplex me, he admitted. Great, then we'll keep them coming. Tomorrow, coffee consult, 10 a.m. at Moonbeam Cafe. Wear something less broody monarch. The call ended before he could object. Kaelin lowered the tablet, heart drumming. Tomorrow, he began a quest unlike any he'd attempted, navigating modern courtship guided by a mortal whirlwind named Ember. The next morning, the cafe's glass front reflected Kaelin's revised attire. Charcoal sweater, dark jeans, and an irrationally bright yellow scarf Ember had texted instructions to find. He stepped inside, scanning for a copper mane. Ember waved from a corner table cluttered with color-coded notebooks and a half-eaten croissant. Broody monarch gone, approachable sweater guy unlocked, she said approvingly, though the scarf might be compensating for centuries of repressed emotion. He tugged at the fabric. It is warm. Good start. She shoved a latte toward him. Now let's talk about your goals. Marriage, fling, best friend with benefits, and please use normal words. He considered. A lifelong bond of mutual guardianship and Affection. She tapped her pen. You mean a serious relationship? Great. You're coachable. So I've set you up with a first date tonight. Her name's Marla, social media influencer, big on astrology apps. Be polite, don't critique her star chart. Just nod and pretend Mercury retrograde is ruining your Wi-Fi. Kaylin's stomach tightened. I appreciate your assistance, Ember Vale. Her eyes softened a fraction. We'll find your person, trust the process, Knight of Kaylin. Hours later, he stood atop the Hemlock Hotel's rooftop bar, city lights flickering below. The moon hung half full, half his time already fading. Marla swept toward him in a cloud of floral perfume, phone raised. Hold still, lighting's perfect. She snapped a selfie with him before hello. You're tall, love that. What time were you born? Need to run compatibility. Kaylin blinked, before the first fires cooled after the sky learned hunger. She laughed like he'd told a joke and scrolled. So Scorpio rising, right? You've got intense eyes. My app says fire signs are stinting in empathy this week. That resonates? My fire is consistent, he answered carefully. She prattled about lunar nodes while checking notifications. Kaylin nodded politely until she cooed, "Show me your aura, babe," and waved a glittering crystal over his chest. The stone flashed molten red, sizzling the chain out of her hand. Marla shrieked, dropping both crystal and phone. That is not a toy for dragonfire, he muttered, forgetting caution. Dragon what? Her eyes widened. Ember appeared, hurried steps crunching on patio gravel. Everything okay here? She forced a bright laugh. Fun crystal trick, right? Marla snatched her phone, glaring. Your client's energy fried my device. Kaylin offered to pay for the damages, but Marla spun on her stilettos. Aura vibes are important. He's chaos incarnate. I'm out. She left in a storm of hashtags and indignation. Ember exhaled, pushing wind-tossed curls from her face. Well, that was cosmic. She shot him a sideways look. Did you really say dragonfire? He straightened. A figure of speech. Ember's lips twitched. Okay, Lord Metaphor. Let's debrief over fries. They slipped into a neon-lit diner down the street. Final seats creaked under Kaylin's weight. Ember ordered 2 milkshakes and a mountain of curly fries. Rule 1 of dating disasters, she said, sliding the plate between them. Carb therapy. He sampled a fry, surprised by its addictive spice. Ember dunked hers in chocolate shake. Don't judge. Never, he murmured, watching the way her eyes sparkled when she laughed at herself. So, she continued, Marla's aura app is toast. But you survived without insulting her sign until the crystal thing, so progress. He nodded. You came to my aid. Hazard of the job. She tapped ketchup with her straw. But I'll be honest. I haven't laughed that hard in weeks. You're weird, Kaylin, but kind of wonderful. Warmth flared beneath his skin, a soft golden ember he feared she could see. He shifted, aware every movement stirred the draconic strength coiled inside. I wish not to embarrass you. The words felt thick. Trust me, I've coached grown men who wore fedora collections to first dates. You're a breath of medieval air. She caught his gaze. We'll keep trying. He found himself reluctant to imagine other women across these tables. If you insist. A comfortable hush settled, broken only by the diner's faint jukebox hum. Ember tilted her head. You don't talk much about yourself. Family? Hobbies? He hesitated. My kind are scattered. Hobbies. I watch the sky. I'm a moon gazer myself. She smiled. Maybe we'll grab a telescope sometime. No star charts required. Something in that simple suggestion sent anticipation coursing through him. He also noticed her painted nails tapping a silent rhythm on the table. A small, restless habit. He liked it. Outside, the city's glow blurred behind fogged windows. Ember drew a spiraling doodle on a napkin. I should let you rest before your next coaching session. Yet she made no move to stand. Neither did he. She glanced up. "I'll call you a ride." "I prefer walking," he said. "Weirdo." Her grin turned soft. Kaylin walked her to a cab stand instead. Rain slipped from the night sky, misting her curls. She rummaged for an umbrella, then surrendered and laughed. "Great. Recently blow-dried hair, meet humidity." He shrugged off his coat despite the chill. "Take this." She blinked. "It's vintage and probably costs more than my rent." "It will spare you a cold." Ember slid into the coat sleeve, swallowing her hands. "Smells like cedar and campfire." Kaylin felt an inexplicable rush of pride. She climbed into a waiting taxi. "See you tomorrow, Night of Flame." The car pulled away. He watched the taillights disappear, the city's drizzle hissing like quiet applause. The Oracle's threat pressed at his mind, but for the first time a strange hope answered back, edged with the copper spark of a woman who tasted fries with milkshakes and laughed at his antiquated heart. When he returned to the loft, the mirror flared alive once more. The Oracle's voice echoed. "Did you find the flame?" "I found a guide," he answered. "Then follow her, for she walks the path to your heart's ember." Kaylin touched the glass. "I intend to." He lay in bed as dawn crept gray across the rafters, coat still carrying Ember's scent of vanilla and rain. He dreamt of her laughter curling like warm smoke, of a sky wide enough for two. In the dream, he soared and she did not fall. He woke smiling, unaware of the faint scales glimmering on his arms where the sheets had smoldered in patterns of gold. Thursday morning arrived with a hazy sky and the smell of city sidewalks still drying after midnight rain. Kaylin waited outside Ember's apartment building, hands deep in his coat pockets. The yellow scarf teetered on dignity's edge, but she had said it made him look approachable. He practiced a smile in the lobby window. It looked like a grimace. A door clattered above, then Ember clomped down the stairs in mismatched socks and a t-shirt proclaiming "Espresso yourself." She carried his charcoal coat draped over her arm and 2 travel mugs that steamed like miniature geysers. "I'm not awake enough for small talk," she warned, thrusting a cup at him. "You get coat and latte delivery service because you saved my hair last night, albeit at the cost of your aristocrat aesthetic." He accepted both. "Your hair appears uninjured." "It's 1/2 frizz, but I call that Tuesday." She ran a hand through copper waves. "Big day, my dragon knight. Poetry night at the Blue Lantern. You'll be meeting Sophie, amateur haikuist with a pet chinchilla and 3 million TikTok followers. Be supportive even if she compares your aura to a wilted cactus." Lana's voice floated from above. "Ask him to sign a waiver, Em. Flame breathers and spoken word crowds are a dicey mix." Ember rolled her eyes. "Ignore my roommate, she thinks everyone with cheekbones is a cryptid." Lana leaned over the stair rail. Short hair dyed aquamarine framed her sly grin. "Morning, Kaylin. Try not to set the club on fire. That scene already has enough hot air." Kaylin inclined his head. "I value your counsel." Lana snorted. "Polite dragon, I like him. Take notes, Ember." Ember mouthed go upstairs and tugged Kaylin toward the street. "Don't mind her. She's snarky before noon." "She is protective," he observed. "She has a talent for seeing the obvious and dressing it in sarcasm." Ember's cheeks colored. "Enough roommate philosophy. Mission of the day, teach you modern flirting. First lesson, emojis." He frowned at the glowing phone she thrust into his hand. "These small pictographs? Yes, they convey tone. Example. If someone texts a pizza slice, they probably want dinner, not spiritual transcendence. Your turn. Describe how you feel about tonight using only 3 emojis." He scanned rows of symbols, baffled, then tapped moon, flame, and dove. Ember peeked. "Moon, fire, peace pigeon." Interpreting, "You're nervous but hopeful and want world harmony." "Not bad." He exhaled, oddly pleased. Evening cloaked the Blue Lantern in indigo light and patchouli fumes. Inside, candles flickered in old wine bottles. Kaylin seated himself across from Sophie, who wore a velvet beret and clutched a slim notebook. "I sense you're a Scorpio moon," she whispered. "Your shadows speak." Kaylin searched for an appropriate response. They have been known to converse. And your element is obviously fire, but tempered by ancient sorrow. She sighed dreamily. I will read you a piece entitled, Molten Heart Seeks Misty Meadow. He nodded once. Sophie stood, ascended the stage, and began reciting lines that wound like ivy. Mid-stanza, she beckoned him to join. Come, mysterious stranger, lend your aura to my words. Kaylin rose, steps echoing. In the hush, he summoned a fragment of an old draconic ballad, translated on the spot. Flame and marrow, thunder and flight, I guard the secret ember of night. Yet dream of winds that carry two, one heart burning, one heart new. The audience fell into stunned silence, then erupted in snaps and whoops. Sophie swooned so hard her beret slipped. Ember, watching from the bar, stared open-mouthed, pride, and something sharper twisting inside. Afterward, Sophie grasped his arm. That was raw starlight. We must collaborate on a dual livestream ritual. Ember stepped between them, brandishing 2 paper cups. Hydration break. Kaylin, you promised me feedback on your new bio, remember? She dragged him toward a side hallway. He followed willingly. I made no such promise. Improvise, she hissed, then exhaled. You were amazing and terrifyingly poetic. Every beat poet in a 5-mile radius just fell in love with you. He tilted his head, including you. Color shot up her neck. Professional immunity. She thrust a lemon soda into his hand. But, yes, maybe a little. So rein it in, Romeo. He tasted the drink. Fizz tickled his senses. Too much? Just enough to make people swoon. But remember, we're searching for the one, not a cult following. She tried for levity, but couldn't hide the gleam of jealousy. Tomorrow, speed dating event. Bring your A-game and your patience. Lana awaited them at Ember's apartment later, leaning on the kitchen counter eating cereal from the box. You smell like incense and existential dread. Must have nailed poetry night. Ember tossed her keys onto the table. He did, and half the room proposed within 20 minutes. Jealous much? Lana wagged the spoon. Shut up, we're professionals. Lana focused on Kaylin. Confirm or deny you're secretly some mythic creature? Kaylin offered a thin smile. Would you believe accountant? Huh. No one's that tall and tortured over spreadsheets. Lana studied him, then Ember, eyes narrowing knowingly. I'm rooting for chaos. She breezed to her room, leaving Ember frowning. Ignore her. She ships everything with legs. She opened the freezer. Ice cream? Kaylin watched the domestic scene, warmth glimmering under his skin. I will try some. They ate spoonfuls from the carton on the couch, knees brushing. Between them, the Oracle's deadline ticked unseen. Yet Kaylin felt only the pulse of her heartbeat when their shoulders touched. Speed dating night unfolded inside a glossy hotel ballroom where tables formed dizzying rows. Ember fixed Kaylin's collar. Remember, ask open-ended questions, smile with eyes, no threats of eternal guardianship. I will attempt subtlety. First bell rang. Kaylin sat opposite a woman who introduced herself by sliding a resume across the cloth. Efficiency is sexy, she said. He skimmed it, confused why she listed flossing frequency. Second bell. A man in a sequined blazer mistakenly took the seat, realized Kaylin's intent, and stammered apologies before fleeing. Third bell. A kindergarten teacher asked about his favorite Disney song. He answered with a war chant from the Elder Peaks. She backed away slowly. Ember hovered, clipboard tapping her thigh in mounting despair. Kaylin almost laughed, an unfamiliar bubbling urge. When he looked for her approval, she flashed a thumbs up, then mouthed normal people conversation. At the fifth bell, a woman boasting 5 rescue ferrets leaned so far forward, her perfume singed his nostrils. He sneezed. Flame flickered. Tablecloth edge caught a spark and smoldered. Someone shrieked. Sprinklers triggered. Water hammered down, extinguishing embers and dissolving mascara. Guests stampeded, shrill complaints rising like gulls. Outside, dripping onto asphalt, Kaylin turned to Ember. I failed. She wiped mascara tracks with her sleeve, then burst out laughing. You set the room on fire with hotness, technically. He groaned. That pun injures me. So does speed dating. She coughed rainwater. Next time, dog yoga. If you can't charm humans, maybe dogs. By morning, rumors of the sprinkler fiasco trended. Ember nursed coffee while Lana scrolled her phone. Your client's a meme. Flaming hot bachelor. Ember groaned. Internet moves fast. Kaylin arrived at the door, hair wet from a dawn walk. Lana lifted an eyebrow. Speak of the devil. He offered Ember a single sunflower, petals bright against his palm. Peace offering. She took it, smile softening. No more fire jokes? Only if you ask. Lana fake coughed. I'll just water my succulents. Ember led Kaylin to the balcony, early sun painting brick walls gold. She tucked the sunflower behind her ear. Why keep trying? Most would bail after last night. I promised the oracle, he began, then paused. I promised myself to keep searching. She rested elbows on the railing. Tell me something true. No medieval metaphors. He considered the skyline. When I was young, flight was as natural as breath. I miss it every moment I walk. She pictured him gliding above clouds and felt her chest tighten. I wish I could see what you saw. He studied her, words snagging on his tongue. He longed to lift her into the wind, but silence settled instead, thick with unsaid things. Dog yoga happened Saturday at dawn in a studio that smelled like lavender and wet fur. Ember waved from reception, scribbling Kaylin's name tag. This is Jenna, she introduced, gesturing to a petite woman juggling 2 dachshunds in matching sweaters. She loves animals and mindfulness. Jenna beamed. Your energy's intense, dogs sense it. Chill vibes, okay? Kaylin nodded. The class began. Participants attempted downward dogs while their pets trotted beneath. A golden retriever licked Kaylin's face. He almost sneezed sparks again. He breathed through it, recalling dragon meditation techniques that involved volcanic steam vents, not scented candles. Mid-pose, a chihuahua yapped at him, hackles raised. Kaylin murmured draconic words of calming. The dog peed in fright. Chaos snowballed. Larger dogs barked. Mats slid. A dachshund tangled 3 leashes. Jenna shrieked when a candle tipped toward spilled water. Reflexively, Kaylin flicked a hand. Heat flashed, evaporating the puddle before flame touched wax. No one noticed, except Ember, who stared across the frenzied room, eyes widening. After class, Jenna apologized as she untangled leashes. Those dogs never act like that. Kaylin offered a reassuring pat to a quivering spaniel. Ember pulled him aside. Okay, I know you're allergy level flammable, but you just superheated water. Are you hiding something? He opened his mouth, then closed it. Luck, perhaps. She frowned. Lana's words echoed in her mind. Still, she let it drop. Fine. Next session Monday. But tonight let's regroup. Burgers? Fireflies flickered among rooftop planters as they shared takeout overlooking city lights. Ember licked sauce from her finger, oblivious to the way Kaylin's gaze followed the motion. Thank you for being patient, she said. Dating experiments are exhausting even for humans. He studied the horizon. May I ask you something? Shoot. Why help others find love when you are alone? She shrugged. Easier to coach than risk my own heart. My heart risks itself whenever I see you, he said quietly, before he could reason it away. Silence swallowed the rooftop. Ember's eyes widened. Wind lifted her hair across her cheek. He brushed it back with trembling fingertips. Golden light pulsed under his skin where they touched, soft and brief. She inhaled sharply. Static shock, weird. He withdrew his hand, guilt roiling. Forgive me. No, it's fine. She fiddled with her straw to hide a blush. Let's talk about your next date before I do something reckless like kiss you." His pulse thundered. "I have no objection." She laughed too loudly, masking confusion. "Down, Dragon Knight, focus. Monday's blind date is at a rooftop greenhouse. If you pass, we'll upgrade your profile. You'll be unstoppable." He saw the forced cheer, the shadow behind her eyes. "If I succeed, will you be happy?" "Of course," she lied. Back in his loft that night, Kalen dreamed of Ember. A feather of her touch ignited an inferno inside his mind. He woke, sheets smoldering. Embers glowed, then winked out, leaving scorch marks shaped like wings. Sweat cooled on his brow, desperation crowding his chest. He moved to the mirror. The oracle emerged, haze swirling. "You near the cusp," the voice intoned. "Choose courage or ash. What if the flame I seek fears me? Then bear the truth of your scales," the oracle advised. "Truth is the only tinder for destiny." Dawn found him outside Ember's door again. Clutching coffee and a simple apology he practiced on the walk. Lana opened this time, eyeing the cups. "She's in meltdown mode," Lana murmured, stepping aside. "You two need to talk." He entered. Ember paced the living room, phone clenched. She startled. "Kalen?" "I came unannounced." She looked rumpled, eyes red. "Last night got weird." "I made it so." She exhaled. "I'm supposed to be objective, but I can't. I think I'm sabotaging your dates." "Why?" Her shoulders slumped. "Because every time you look at someone else, I want to break their phone and drag you away." She laughed shakily. "I'm a terrible coach." Hope flared in his chest. "You are the only one I wish to see." She met his gaze, walls crumbling. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen. Blind date reminder. Her resolve hardened. "I set this up. We're not bailing now. For professionalism." Despair flickered, but he nodded. "I will go." She swallowed. "Break a leg, Knight of Flame." He stepped closer, resisting the urge to kiss the fear from her eyes. "If I break anything, it will be my own heart." She couldn't answer, merely turned away. He left, scarf fluttering like a warning banner. As evening painted the sky copper, Ember cued Kalen's final date in the greenhouse, nerves coiling. Lana joined her nearby, binoculars in hand. "We spying?" "Supervising," Ember muttered. Inside the greenhouse, Kalen waited amid hanging vines and fairy lights. His date arrived, a graceful botanist named Celine who smelled of jasmine. She spoke about orchids and soil pH. Kalen tried to listen, but every breath summoned Ember's scent. When Celine offered a rare blossom for him to sniff, pollen tickled his throat. He stifled a cough. A curl of smoke escaped his lips. She froze. Leaves around them browned at the edges as heat radiated. Celine gasped. "Are you vaping?" He backed away, panic streaking. Scales shimmered over his cheekbones. He clapped a hand over them. Magic pulsed beyond control. Glass panes rattled. Outside, Ember saw the flicker of gold light through foliage. "Oh no." She burst inside as Kalen's form blurred, wings threatening to unfurl. Guests screamed, sprinklers engaged. Steam hissed where water met flare. Ember sprinted through tropical mist. "Kalen, hey big guy, eyes on me." His gaze locked on hers, wild and glowing. She placed a palm on his chest. "Breathe with me." Slowly the glow receded, scales fading as he fought for mastery. Sirens wailed, security rushed in. Lana herded shrieking patrons out. Kalen whispered, "I am sorry." Ember kept her hand against his hammering heart. "We need to leave. Now." They slipped out a side door into night air heavy with sirens and orchid perfume. Ember dragged him into a shadowed alley. Neon reflected off damp bricks. She stared. "Explain," she said, voice trembling. Kalen looked at his shaking hands. "The truth is older than these streets." Try me." He drew a breath that tasted of ash and fear. Golden sparks danced across his skin, illuminating his confession. "I am dragonkind, Embervale, bound to scales and sky. You are the flame the prophecy told me to find." She stepped back. "Dragon. Prophecy. You lied to me. I concealed. To keep you safe. You set entire rooms on fire keeping secrets." Her laugh cracked. "Is Sophie's aura still cactus-worthy?" He flinched. "I deserve that." She wiped tears, furious with herself for caring. "I need space." He bowed his head. "If you wish me gone, I will leave." "Do that," she whispered, turning away before he could see her heart splinter. Kaelin walked into the night, each step heavier than iron. Unaware, Ember sank against the wall, weeping, while orchid petals drifted like silent ashes around her shoes. Cold rain found every tear in Kaelin's armor as he wandered the riverside promenade, coat unbuttoned, yellow scarf wilting like a drowned banner. Each step felt heavier, as though the concrete remembered every wing beat he had surrendered for this fragile guise. Reflections of neon billboards wavered across puddles. In one, the oracle's face flickered like a candle inside smoke glass. "Your hourglass bleeds its final grains." He stopped, breath a plume of steam. "She fears me. She fears what she does not yet know. Let truth temper terror. If I bind her against her will, her flame will die. Then offer her freedom. Love given freely outburns prophecy." The reflection dissolved, leaving only his own bleak silhouette. He folded the scarf into his pocket. If freedom was the price, he would pay it, even if it shattered him. Up in the apartment Ember shared with Lana, every light blazed. Ember paced the kitchen, clutching a mug of tea that had long gone cold. The orchid petals clinging to her coat sleeve mocked her with their scented calm. Lana leaned against the sink, arms crossed. "So the hot client is literally a dragon. On the scale of shocking secrets, that's... okay, actually that's bonkers." "I'm an idiot," Ember muttered. "I coach people through honesty and communication, but I ignored the giant flaming elephant in the room because I didn't want to lose him." Lana took the mug, tipped it into the sink. "You're not an idiot, you're in love. A monumental, scale-covered curveball is still a curveball." Ember sank onto a stool, elbows on the counter. "Love? No. I'm his coach, or was." "Coach Crush, choose your C word." He looked at you like you were the first sunrise he'd seen in centuries. "That's because he literally hasn't seen one since, I don't know, the Crusades." She rubbed her eyes. "He lied." "He hid," Lana corrected gently. "Survival mode. You of all people should understand masks." Ember's shoulders slumped. "I've built a business on telling others to ditch theirs. I should have seen his." "And you did, dog yoga water evaporation, come on." Lana nudged her arm. "What scares you more, Em? That he's a dragon, or that he might actually be your person?" Thunder rattled the windows, punctuating the question. Ember stared at the dark glass, seeing not her reflection but the outline of a man who quoted ancient poetry and offered his coat like a knight. When the knock sounded, her heart jolted. Lana raised a brow. "Speaking of knights." Ember crossed the living room and opened the door. Kaelin stood drenched, hair plastered, amber eyes dulled by guilt. Steam rose faintly from his shoulders where cold rain met inner heat. "I came to return this." He held out her sunflower, petals bruised but stubbornly bright. "It belongs with its flame." She swallowed. "You shouldn't be here." "I will leave if you ask." He set the flower gently on the console table. "But first I must free you." "Free me from what, your insane prophecy?" "From any bond you never chose." He lifted his right hand. A pinpoint of golden fire hovered above his palm like a droplet of molten sun. One breath from this flame severs a potential mate link before it roots. After that, destiny may pass us by, and you will be safe from my world's dangers. Ember's throat tightened. "What about you?" "The Oracle. My fate is mine." His voice frayed but steady. "Say the word, and I will burn the thread." Silence pooled between them, broken only by distant brake lights hissing on wet asphalt. Lana, lingering near the hallway, held her breath. Ember stepped closer until she felt the heat of that tiny flame. It cast dancing lights across his face, highlighting weariness and unguarded hope. "I'm not afraid of your world, Kaylin. I'm afraid of losing you." "You scarcely know me." The flame trembled. "I know you return coats, rescue orchids, speak like storms, and set off fire sprinklers only when you care." Her hand rose, hovering over his. "And I know I've never laughed or hurt or wanted quite like this." "Ember, I choose the thread," she whispered. His eyes flared brighter than the flame. "Once woven, we share life and power. Your heart will know my fire, my strength will know your joy. There is risk." She smiled, tears shining. "Every good romance coach preaches risk. Kiss me and set the syllabus." The flame folded inward, sinking into his skin. He cupped her cheek with that newly unlit hand. Warmth radiated through her bones. When their lips met, lightning hummed through marrow and memory. Scales raced across his arms in iridescent mosaics. Sparks flickered along her eyelashes but did not burn. Instead, they felt like confetti bursting from the universe's cupped hands. Behind them, Lana whooped, then clamped a hand over her mouth. "Sorry, carry on. I'll just... yeah." She vanished, leaving laughter echoing. The kiss slowed, deepened, softened. When they parted, Kaylin rested his forehead against hers. "Your heart is thunder. And yours is dragonfire. Apparently they're compatible." "Perfectly." He drew back enough to study her. "May I abduct you to a rooftop? I have an apology planned, only minor pyrotechnics. As long as we're above fire sprinkler range." Minutes later, they climbed a narrow fire escape to the building's tar paper roof. Clouds cleared just in time for a pale moon to spill silver onto puddles. Kaylin closed his eyes. Wings shimmered into existence, translucent and golden, before settling against his back. Ember gasped, reaching out. "Beautiful." "They are yours now as well. Lean over the ledge." She obeyed, heart fluttering while city lights stretched below like a circuit board. He drew a slow breath, exhaled a ribbon of flame that curled outward and upward, painting an arc that became a constellation of embers drifting across the skyline. The sparks formed faint letters, E+K. Her laugh mixed with an awed sob. "That's the cheesiest thing any being, mortal or mythic, has ever done for me. I have studied rom-com finales, and nailed it." She wiped a tear. "Now I owe you marshmallows." He produced a small paper bag. "I prepared." He ignited a fingertip, holding it like a matchstick while she speared fluffy cubes on a chopstick found in her pocket. They roasted over his flame until golden. Molten sugar dripped onto his knuckle. She leaned forward and kissed the burn away. The skin healed instantly, leaving nothing but a diamond of light that sank beneath the surface. "Handy," she murmured. "Think of the s'mores empire we could open. We could call it Dragonfire Delights. Swipe right and bite." She laughed at her own pun, then sobered. "About your prophecy, does this link fix the deadline?" He brushed her hair behind her ear, scales receding. "The oracle said only truth could ignite destiny. When you chose me freely, the cycle completed." He lifted her hand. Faint gold veins glowed beneath her skin, flickered and vanished. "Our bond is forged." "Good, because I'm not coaching you through any more disastrous dates." She pulled out her phone, opened the dating app, and slid it into his hand. "Your turn." He studied the glowing icon. "Delete." "Together." Their thumbs pressed the screen. The app vanished with a satisfying poof. A second later, her phone buzzed with a final notification. "Are you sure?" "There's still hope for love." Ember snorted, tapped yes. and tossed the phone onto a folded tarp. Kaylin's gaze turned thoughtful. We could improve it. A service pairing mythic beings with compatible mortals, guided by authentic connection. Dragon-approved matchmaking, Lana would market that in her sleep. Ember hopped onto an HVAC unit and patted the space beside her. Come brainstorm. He joined her, settling wings around them like a blanket. She leaned into the curve of his arm. Rule 1 of our agency, she said. Full disclosure. If you're a Mer-King or a Banshee, put it in the bio. Rule 2, he countered. First date must involve fries and milkshakes. And Rule 3, she continued, never let the client forget that love is chaos, but the good kind, like glitter bombs in February. They fell into easy laughter, trading absurd slogans. Swipe right on the night, feel the real deal fire. Until conversation slowed into comfortable silence, broken only by distant horns and a pigeon soldiering through puddles. Kaylin tilted her chin up. Thank you for believing. You made it hard not to. She traced a scale at his temple with gentle curiosity. So, Dragon Boy, any flight perks in this new relationship package? He glanced both ways, measuring distance and human sightlines. Limited demonstration, due to noise ordinances. Wings unfolded fully, catching moonlight. Hold tight. She yelped as he swept her against his chest and leapt. Air rushed, rooftop shrinking below. For one breathless heartbeat, they hovered on a column of heat he conjured from hidden furnaces, feathers of flame spiraling in their wake. The city opened beneath them like a glittering map. Wind tangled her curls, laughter ripped free of her lungs. Then, with a controlled arc, he glided back, soles touching tar with feather-like grace. She clung to his shoulders, eyes wide with exhilaration. Again. Tomorrow, he promised, setting her down. Tonight I must speak to the Oracle one last time. He held her gaze. Come? She hesitated. Mirror realms aren't exactly my comfort zone. He smiled, gentle. Neither were dog yoga studios. Fair point, she laced their fingers. Lead on, scaly prince. They returned to the loft where the silver mirror waited among attic shadows. Ember squeezed his hand as the glass shimmered. The Oracle's swirling face emerged, eyes like galaxies, voice like echoing bells. The flame has chosen its mate. The cycle of stone ends. The cycle of sky begins. Kaylin bowed. My heart has found flight. Ember cleared her throat. Hi, Cosmic Mirror person. Just letting you know we're updating the prophecy interface. Fewer riddles, more bullet points. A ripple of amusement flickered across the glass. Bold tongue, bright fire. Guard her well, Drakkar. The mirror dimmed, leaving only their reflections, hers still glowing faintly gold where his hand held hers. Ember exhaled. That felt big. It was merely confirmation of what we already knew. He tipped her chin. We are ours. Behind them, Lana's voice drifted up the ladder. If you two are done with destiny, pizza's here. They laughed in unison. Ember called down, half pineapple? Obviously, Lana retorted. Kaylin arched a brow. Pineapple? You'll learn. She tugged him by the hand to the hatch. Welcome to modern romance, mythic revelations, midnight flight, and questionable pizza toppings. I am prepared for every challenge. They descended into friendly clutter and the aroma of melted cheese. Lana was already pouring sparkling cider into mugs shaped like cauldrons. She raised hers in a toast. To Truthfire and the finest chaos swipe culture has ever seen. Glasses clinked. Ember fed Kaylin his first bite of pineapple-speckled pizza. He chewed thoughtfully, scales flickering in interest. Unexpected sweetness, like you. Flattery will get you extra slices. She brushed sauce from his lip. The simple domestic gesture felt as momentous as any skyborn vow. Later, after Lana retired with a conspiratorial wink, they curled on the couch, legs entwined under a blanket embroidered with tiny cartoon dragons. Rain tapped against the window, soft percussion for the rhythm of two new hearts. Kaylin smoothed a curl from her forehead. You once said every bad date makes a good story. And every good story, she murmured, tracing a circle over his chest where the mate mark pulsed faintly, starts with a spark. We have sparks to spare. Then here's to fanning them. Her kiss was unhurried, tasting of melted marshmallow and future laughter. Outside, dawn's first gold seeped into the sky, and a dragon shifter who had feared ground forever after found he no longer missed the wind, not when it lived inside the fierce, brilliant heart pressed against his own.